Have you ever felt like you're at a pivotal point, holding on to a relationship or friendship because it's comfortable and familiar, yet you know deep inside that it's preventing you from truly thriving? It's hard to accept that sometimes the people closest to us, those we've shared countless laughs, tears, and memories with, might not be meant to accompany us on our entire journey. It's a harsh reality, isn't it? But this is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers valuable insights into our modern challenges. The Stoics, with their deep understanding of human nature and the quest for a fulfilling life, remind us that personal growth often demands making difficult decisions about who we keep in our inner circle. It's not about cutting people off with cold indifference, but about intentionally curating our lives, choosing relationships that uplift, inspire, and push us to be our best selves. So, if you're at that crossroads, feeling the weight of a decision that could redefine your path, know that you're not alone. Today, we delve into the core of Stoic wisdom to identify the signs that it's time to gently let go of certain ties, making room for new growth, deeper connections, and a life aligned with your highest virtues. Join me as we embark on this journey together, guided by the timeless teachings of Stoicism. Let's discover the freedom and peace that come from choosing our relationships with wisdom and courage. As we navigate this path, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, share this message with someone who might need it, and don't forget to like and watch every part of this exploration. Each moment could be the one that transforms your life. If a relationship is hindering your growth, it's a warning sign. Think about it. Have you ever felt stuck, like you're not progressing because someone close to you isn't supporting you, or worse, is actively holding you back? It's a challenging situation, isn't it? Seneca emphasized the importance of personal growth and self-improvement, believing that to live a meaningful life, we must constantly evolve. We must always strive to grow, learn, and challenge our boundaries. If you're in a relationship, be it with a friend, family member, or partner, and you feel stifled, Seneca would likely see this as a significant warning sign. While not every relationship needs to push you to your limits, those who care about you should encourage your growth. They should be your supporters and motivators, not weights pulling you down into the depths of what if and if only. It's essential to have an honest conversation with yourself. Ask why you continue to hold on to this relationship. Is it due to habit, fear, or loyalty? These are tough questions, but crucial ones. True connections, the ones truly deserving of your time and heart, should elevate you. They should make you feel capable of being better today than you were yesterday. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who positively impact our lives. It's not about having a large number of friends or being universally liked. It's about cultivating a circle that enriches your life, encourages your growth, and aligns with your values. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like quicksand than a launching pad, it might be time to reevaluate its role in your life. Remember, wanting to grow isn't selfish, it's human. Sometimes growth means letting go of those who hold us back, not with resentment, but with gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to say goodbye. Reflect on your relationships and consider whether they are bridges to your best self or barriers to your growth. The journey of self-improvement is never a solo endeavor. We need the right companions to truly make it worthwhile. We've all experienced being trapped in a storm of negative emotions within a relationship. Have you ever been in a situation where drama dominates and support is absent? It's exhausting, isn't it? Marcus Aurelius offered profound insights into managing our emotions, famously stating that we have control over our minds, not external events, and understanding this is where our true power lies. This perspective can be transformative when applied to relationships overwhelmed by jealousy, anger, or other negative emotions. If your relationship feels more like a battlefield than a sanctuary, it's a clear sign that something needs to change. These emotions, while part of the human experience, shouldn't form the basis of any lasting and peaceful relationship. I'm not suggesting we should aim to live without ever feeling anger or jealousy, as that would be as impossible as breathing without air. However, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we are in control of our responses to these emotions. If jealousy arises because a friend seems to be advancing in life while you feel stuck, or if anger surfaces every time someone undermines you, remember that you control your reaction. You can choose not to let these emotions dictate the dynamics of your relationship. What does this look like in practice? It begins with awareness, recognizing when these emotions surface and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What can I learn from this? How can I respond in a way that aligns with the person I want to become? These questions are challenging but essential. Sometimes the healthiest response is to create distance or make a change. This isn't about avoiding problems, but acknowledging that if a relationship's core is more about dragging each other down into negativity than lifting each other up, it might be time to reassess. This doesn't mean you've failed or that the other person is a villain in your story. It's simply recognizing that not every relationship is meant to last through every phase of our lives, and that's okay. The Stoics emphasized living in accordance with nature, and sometimes that means growing apart. So, if you find yourself constantly grappling with negative emotions in any of your relationships, take a moment to reflect on Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. Remember, you have control over your mind, your reactions, and ultimately, the choice to surround yourself with relationships that foster positive and supportive energies. In these supportive environments, we can truly flourish, grow, and find peace. Let's not allow drama to define our relationships. Instead, let's foster connections based on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine support. Ultimately, these are the relationships that endure and bring out the best in us. Let's address a tricky but essential topic, the role of manipulation and control in our relationships. In any relationship, feeling more like a puppet than a partner is a significant red flag. It's time to discuss autonomy, freedom, and the sage advice of Epictetus, who once said, "No one is free who is not master of himself." Reflect on that for a moment. According to Epictetus, true freedom comes from within, from being in control of our actions, decisions, and ultimately our lives. So what does it mean when we find ourselves in relationships where we feel we're not in control, where our decisions, desires, and even thoughts seem to be governed by someone else? This is a clear sign that something is amiss. Manipulation and control can manifest in various ways, sometimes subtly, like constant suggestions that steer you away from your passions, or more overtly, like outright demands dictating who you should be or what you should do. These are not characteristics of a healthy relationship. True connections, those worth our time and emotional investment, are built on mutual respect and freedom. Stoicism teaches us the importance of autonomy, being the master of our own lives. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly second-guessing your choices or feeling like your wings are clipped, it's worth asking why. Why remain in a dynamic that stifles your freedom and prevents you from being the author of your own life story? Cutting ties with someone who is manipulating or controlling you isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about honoring your worth, your autonomy, and your right to live a life true to yourself. It's about embracing Epictetus's wisdom and reclaiming your freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, to grow, and to live a life aligned with your values. Yes, deciding to step away from such relationships can be incredibly challenging. It might mean letting go of something familiar or someone you care deeply about. But remember, Stoicism isn't about choosing the easy path. It's about choosing the right path. Sometimes the right path is the one that guides us away from what harms us and towards a more authentic, fulfilling existence. Genuine relationships, those that truly enrich our lives, respect our individuality and freedom. They encourage us to explore, question, and grow. They don't try to mold us into something we're not or dictate how we should live our lives. If you feel like someone is pulling your strings, take a moment to reflect on Epictetus's words. No one is truly free who isn't master of himself. Ask yourself if it's time to cut those strings and embrace the freedom to be your authentic self. This journey is worth taking, a step towards a life where you're in control, surrounded by relationships that uplift and respect your autonomy and freedom. Let's cherish and seek out those connections that empower us and allow us to be the masters of our own lives. True friendship and love should set us free, not hold us back. What happens when a relationship starts to do more harm than good? When your time with someone leaves you feeling more drained than energized, more stressed than supported? It's like constantly walking on eggshells, caught in an endless cycle of arguments, or feeling down whenever they're around. These are glaring red flags indicating something is seriously wrong. Healthy connections, the kind we all deserve and should strive for, are supposed to feel good. They're meant to enrich our lives, bring us joy, and support us through the ups and downs. They shouldn't complicate our lives with constant stress or make us question our worth. The Stoics emphasized living in harmony with nature, including our own nature, and pursuing a life of virtue and tranquility. They believed in the importance of maintaining relationships aligned with these principles. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that pulls you away from peace and from being your best self, consider what the Stoics might advise. They'd likely advise us to step back and objectively examine the situation. Is this relationship enhancing your well-being and fostering your personal growth, or is it a constant source of negativity, draining your energy and leaving you feeling worse? If it's the latter, it might be time to question whether this connection is truly serving your highest good. Remember, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and the courage to make tough decisions that align with our well-being and virtues. It's not about being cold or unfeeling. It's about recognizing what is truly beneficial for us in the long run. Sometimes, that means making the difficult choice to distance ourselves from relationships that do more harm than good. This doesn't mean that every rough patch indicates a toxic relationship that should be ended. However, if someone's presence consistently makes you feel worse, it's a clear sign that something needs to change. Healthy relationships might have their challenges, but at their core, they provide support, love, and mutual growth. If this resonates with your current situation, take a moment to reflect on the steps you can take to address the issues. Communication is key. Perhaps it's time for an honest, open conversation about your feelings. If things don't improve, remember that it's okay to prioritize your peace and well-being. The Stoics would remind us that our responsibility to ourselves includes nurturing healthy relationships and letting go of those that aren't. Let's commit to seeking out and cultivating connections that add to our lives rather than complicate them. At the end of the day, we all deserve relationships that bring us joy, growth, and tranquility. Facing these challenges and making these tough decisions help us grow stronger and align more closely with our true selves. That's the Stoic way, embracing what serves us and having the wisdom to let go of what doesn't. A lack of mutual respect is another deal breaker. Without respect, there's no foundation for anything positive. It's like trying to build a house on sand. Eventually, everything will collapse. The Stoics, who emphasized living a virtuous life, placed a significant importance on self-respect and the respect we owe to others. They believed every individual possesses inherent worth and dignity, which should be reflected in how we treat each other. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're not being treated with the dignity you deserve, it's a massive red flag. It's not just about feeling undervalued, it's about recognizing that a fundamental aspect of your humanity is being disregarded. Mutual respect is the bedrock of any healthy connection, the foundation upon which trust, love, and genuine understanding are built. Without it, you're left with a hollow, unfulfilling relationship that's not worth your time and emotional investment. I can almost hear some of you saying, but what if it's not that simple? What if I really care about this person? And that's a fair point. Relationships are complex and emotions are powerful. However, this is where the wisdom of Stoicism can guide us. The Stoics emphasize clarity, rationality, and living in alignment with our highest values. They would encourage us to take a step back and evaluate our relationships through this lens. Are we being true to ourselves by staying in a situation where we're not respected? Are we honoring our inherent worth and the virtues we strive to live by? If the answer is no, then it might be time for a serious reassessment. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting someone out of your life with cold precision. Instead, it's about recognizing your own value and making decisions that reflect that. This might mean setting clearer boundaries, having an honest conversation about your feelings, or in some cases, acknowledging that it's time to move on. Remember, respecting yourself and insisting on being treated with respect by others is not selfish or demanding. It's a reflection of the self-worth that the Stoics believed each of us should cultivate. It's about living with integrity and ensuring that your relationships reflect the respect and virtue you strive for in your own life. So, if you're dealing with a lack of mutual respect, take a moment to reflect on what that means for you and your well-being. Consider how you can address this issue in a way that honors your dignity and values. At the end of the day, everyone deserves to be in relationships where they are treated with the same respect and consideration they offer in return. Let's strive to cultivate connections rooted in mutual respect, where each person is valued and appreciated for who they are. These are the kinds of relationships that not only survive, but thrive, reflecting the best of what it means to live a life grounded in Stoic wisdom and virtue. Feeling tethered to illusions rather than reality can be detrimental. At its core, Stoicism is about acceptance, accepting the reality of our lives, relationships, and the world around us as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. The Stoics, with their pragmatic and grounded approach to life, teach us that there is profound strength and freedom in seeing things clearly, without the rose-colored glasses that illusions often provide. So what does this mean for our relationships? It means taking a hard, honest look at them and asking ourselves whether they are rooted in reality or if we are holding on to a fantasy. Are we ignoring red flags, glossing over issues, or painting a picture of someone that doesn't quite match up with who they really are? If so, we are not doing ourselves or our partners any favors. Being tethered to illusions in a relationship can feel like being stuck in a mirage. Everything looks perfect from a distance, but as you get closer, you realize it's just an illusion, lacking substance and truth. This doesn't mean that hope and aspirations have no place in relationships. They certainly do. However, there's a delicate balance between healthy aspirations and losing ourselves in fantasies that prevent us from engaging genuinely with our connections. Embracing the truth, as the Stoics would advise, involves confronting these illusions directly. It means having the courage to recognize and accept the reality of our relationships, even when it is uncomfortable or painful. This task is challenging and requires a level of honesty and vulnerability that can be intimidating. Yet there is immense power in truth. It is the foundation upon which genuine, meaningful relationships are built. The process of embracing reality over illusion can be transformative. It might involve acknowledging that a relationship isn't what you imagined it to be, or that the person you're with isn't who you hoped they would be. This realization can be a difficult pill to swallow, but it is also a crucial step towards genuine growth and emotional freedom. It opens the door to engaging in relationships that are authentic, where you can love and be loved for who you truly are, not for the illusions you have constructed. If you find yourself tethered to illusions, take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your relationship are real, and which parts have you embellished or imagined? How does this alignment, or lack thereof, with reality affect your happiness and well-being? Stoicism isn't about pessimism or resigning oneself to unhappiness. On the contrary, it is about finding peace and contentment by aligning ourselves with the truth of how things are. It teaches us that by accepting reality, we can navigate our lives and relationships with wisdom, clarity, and a sense of groundedness that illusions cannot provide. Let's challenge ourselves to view our relationships through the lens of Stoic acceptance. Embrace the truth, however difficult it may be, and in doing so, open yourself up to genuine, fulfilling connections that enrich your life in meaningful ways. In the clarity of truth, we find the path to real happiness and love. Compromising your values should never be an option. These principles guide us, acting as the moral compass that directs our decisions, actions, and ultimately our life's path. So, what happens when a relationship challenges those very values, asking you to compromise on what you hold dear? It's a difficult situation, but one that demands our attention. Stoicism offers invaluable insights on this matter. The Stoics would argue that compromising our core values for the sake of a relationship is a price too high to pay. Why? Because our values are the essence of who we are. They shape our identity, influence our choices, and dictate how we interact with the world around us. To compromise on these is to lose a part of ourselves, and that is a loss no relationship is worth. Being in a relationship that requires you to act against your values undermines your integrity and self-respect. At first, it might be small compromises, but over time, these add up, gradually eroding your sense of self and the principles you live by. This isn't just about making sacrifices or compromises, which are normal parts of any healthy relationship. It's about betraying the very core of your being. The Stoics teach us that integrity and virtue are not just lofty ideals, but practical guides for living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all emphasize the importance of staying true to oneself and living in alignment with one's values, regardless of external pressures or temptations. This alignment is what gives our lives meaning, direction, and a sense of purpose. If you find yourself in a situation where a relationship is asking you to betray your values, it's a clear signal to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this relationship serving my highest good? Is it allowing me to grow and thrive, or is it holding me back, asking me to be someone I'm not? It's not an easy situation to navigate, especially when emotions are involved. But the Stoic practice of self-reflection and rational analysis can be your ally. By stepping back and assessing the relationship through the lens of your values, you can make decisions that are not only right for you, but that also honor the person you strive to be. Remember, walking away from a relationship that compromises your values isn't a sign of failure. It's a courageous act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you value yourself enough to only accept relationships that uplift you, respect you, and align with the essence of who you are. Let's challenge ourselves to live with the integrity and virtue the Stoics admired so much. Let's ensure that our relationships reflect and respect our values, not undermine them. Because at the end of the day, it's our adherence to these values that defines us, guides us through life's ups and downs, and leads us to true fulfillment. So keep your values close, cherish them, and never compromise on them for anyone or anything. In doing so, you'll not only honor the wisdom of the Stoics, but also pave the way for relationships that are genuine, meaningful, and truly enriching. When we talk about reciprocity, we're referring to the balance of give and take between people. It's about mutual support, where both parties contribute equally to the relationship. But what happens when this balance is off and you find yourself in a one-sided relationship, constantly giving but rarely, if ever, receiving? Many of us have encountered this situation, and it is far from ideal. Reciprocity is not just a desirable quality. It is essential for the health and longevity of any relationship. Consider a relationship where one person is always the giver and the other always the receiver. This is fundamentally out of balance. It can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and underappreciation for the giver, while fostering dependency or entitlement in the receiver. This imbalance undermines the essence of what a healthy relationship should be. The Stoics had much to say about the nature of relationships and the importance of mutual support. They valued contributing to the well-being of others, but not at the expense of one's own well-being. For the Stoics, the ideal relationship was one of harmony and mutual respect, where both individuals support each other in their pursuit of virtue and a good life. If you find yourself in a one-sided relationship, it's worth reflecting on the Stoic principles of balance and mutual respect. Are you respecting yourself by allowing this imbalance to continue? Are you respecting the other person by enabling a dynamic that doesn't encourage their growth or contribution? Addressing this imbalance doesn't necessarily mean ending the relationship. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth for both parties. It starts with communication, expressing your needs, setting boundaries, and discussing ways to bring more balance into the relationship. It's about encouraging and allowing the other person to contribute more, not just materially, but emotionally and spiritually as well. Healthy relationships are dynamic and evolve over time. They require effort, compromise, and a willingness to adapt. However, the foundation should always be reciprocity. Each person should feel valued, heard, and supported. Mutual support builds trust, deepens connections, and fosters an environment where both individuals can thrive. Seeking balance in your relationships is not selfish. It is necessary. It ensures that you are not just giving, but also receiving the support, love, and respect you deserve. It's about building relationships that are not only sustainable, but truly enriching for both parties. Let's strive to cultivate relationships where reciprocity is the norm, not the exception. Let's embrace the Stoic ideals of balance and mutual respect, creating connections that uplift and support everyone involved. After all, in the give and take of life, maintaining a balanced relationship is key to true fulfillment. We discover the true essence of meaningful relationships through understanding and respect. However, it's crucial to address a difficult but essential topic: abuse. Whether it's physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, abuse is a clear and unequivocal signal that it's time to leave the relationship. Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in principles of dignity, self-respect, and the value of the human spirit, condemns any form of abuse. Such behavior violates the Stoic principles of respect for oneself and others and destroys the foundation of trust and safety that relationships should be built upon. Stoicism teaches us the importance of recognizing our inherent worth and insists on maintaining our dignity and self-respect. These are not just lofty ideals, but practical guidelines meant to direct our actions and choices, especially in the face of adversity. When these fundamental principles are violated, Stoicism urges us to take action, not out of vengeance or anger, but out of respect for ourselves and the innate value of our well-being. Abuse tramples on dignity and self-respect. It seeks to diminish the victim's sense of self, to control and to instill fear, which is antithetical to everything Stoicism stands for. The Stoic response to such a situation is clear. Seeking help and exiting the relationship is not just important, it is necessary. This step aligns with the Stoic commitment to living a life that is virtuous and dignified, respecting the inherent worth of every individual, starting with oneself. Exiting an abusive relationship is undoubtedly one of the most challenging decisions one might ever have to make. It requires immense courage, strength, and often support from others. This is where the Stoic practice of seeking wisdom from those who have faced similar challenges or from professionals who can offer guidance and support becomes invaluable. Seeking help from friends, family, or professional services is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It affirms one's worth and commitment to living a life free from harm. Moreover, Stoicism emphasizes not just exiting abusive situations, but also the process of healing and reclaiming one's dignity and self-respect after such experiences. It teaches us that while we may not control others' actions, we can control our responses and how we move forward. The journey of healing from abuse is, in many ways, a Stoic journey. It involves reasserting control over one's inner world, reaffirming one's values, and rebuilding one's life in alignment with those values. Let's be clear, if you are in an abusive situation, remember that it is not your fault, and you are not alone. Reaching out for help, leaning on the strength of those who support you, and taking steps to leave such a situation are actions that reflect the highest respect you can show yourself. These are steps towards a life where your dignity, self-respect, and well-being are prioritized, as they should be. In the spirit of Stoicism, let us remember the importance of valuing ourselves, respecting our inherent worth, and taking decisive action to remove ourselves from harmful situations. Let's stand firm in our commitment to dignity, self-respect, and the pursuit of a life that is not only free from abuse, but also rich in virtue and meaning. Communication breakdowns can be challenging. When communication within a relationship fails, attempts to talk things out can lead nowhere. Finding common ground feels impossible, and mutual understanding seems out of reach. This isn't just a minor issue, it's a red flag indicating deeper problems that need addressing. Stoicism, with its timeless wisdom, offers guidance for such situations. Effective communication is essential for any thriving relationship. It's how we express our needs, share our thoughts, and connect meaningfully. Without it, we navigate our relationships in the dark, guessing at the other person's thoughts and feelings, and often getting it wrong. The Stoics valued clear, honest communication, practicing it in their lives and teaching it to others. They emphasized listening, understanding, and responding with wisdom and empathy. So, what should we do when communication breaks down? First, recognize that failed communication is often a symptom of deeper issues. It could stem from a lack of trust, unresolved resentments, or differing communication styles. Whatever the root cause, Stoicism teaches us to approach the problem with a clear head and an open heart. It encourages us to look inward, examine our own role in the communication breakdown, and strive for clarity and honesty in our interactions. Marcus Aurelius advocated using reason and logic to navigate life's challenges. He would likely suggest applying these tools to communication issues. This means stepping back, removing as much emotion as possible, and analyzing the situation objectively. Where is the communication failing? Why? What steps can be taken to improve it? Improving communication requires effort from all parties involved. It's about creating a safe space where each person feels heard and valued. It's about actively listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but but truly trying to understand the other person's perspective. It's about expressing yourself clearly and respectfully without accusations or assumptions. Most importantly, it's about having the patience and persistence to keep trying even when it feels like you're not making progress. Stoicism also highlights the importance of empathy and compassion in our communications. Remember, everyone has their own struggles, fears, and insecurities. Sometimes what appears as hostility or indifference is actually a defense mechanism. By approaching our communications with empathy, we open the door to deeper understanding and connection. Failed communication doesn't have to mark the end of a relationship. Instead, it can be an opportunity for growth for both individuals and the relationship itself. It's a chance to learn more about each other, to develop better communication skills, and to build a stronger, more resilient bond. If you find yourself facing communication challenges, reflect on the Stoic principles of clarity, honesty, and empathy. Use these as your guide to navigate through the issues. Remember, the goal isn't just to talk more, but to communicate better. In the richness of effective communication, we find the true essence of connection and understanding, the very foundations upon which meaningful relationships are built. Imagine a relationship that, instead of being a source of peace and comfort, feels more like a storm, constantly disturbing your inner calm and leaving you feeling unsettled. It's tough when the connections that are supposed to enrich our lives end up costing us our peace of mind. This is a clear signal that it's time to pause and reflect on the role such a relationship plays in your life. Stoicism, a philosophy that has endured for centuries, places immense value on tranquility, teaching us to cultivate a state of inner calm that remains undisturbed by external circumstances. The Stoics believe that peace of mind is not just a precious asset, but essential for living a good life. The Stoics taught us to strive for equanimity amidst life's ups and downs, including how we manage our relationships with wisdom and discernment. So what should we do when a relationship consistently disrupts our tranquility? First, Stoicism encourages us to step back and examine the situation objectively. Ask yourself why this relationship disturbs your peace. Is it due to the other person's behavior, unresolved conflicts, or perhaps your own reactions and expectations? This self-examination is crucial as it shifts us from emotional reactions to rational responses. Once we identify the source of the disturbance, the next step is to consider what can be changed. Can the issues be addressed through open and honest communication? Are there boundaries that need to be set or reinforced? Remember, Stoicism does not advocate for passive acceptance of all situations. While it teaches us to accept what we cannot change, it also encourages us to take action where we can make a positive difference. However, if after careful consideration and effort, the relationship continues to be a source of turmoil, it may be time to question its place in your life. This isn't about giving up at the first sign of trouble or conflict. It's about recognizing when a relationship is fundamentally misaligned with your values and your pursuit of tranquility. The decision to distance yourself from a relationship that disturbs your peace should not be taken lightly. It requires courage, honesty, and sometimes a willingness to let go for the sake of your own well-being. Remember, the Stoic goal is not to eliminate all discomfort, but to cultivate inner resilience to face challenges with equanimity. Ultimately, the relationships we maintain should support our pursuit of tranquility, not undermine it. They should be sources of strength, growth, and joy, not constant unrest. If you find yourself consistently disturbed by a relationship, see it as an opportunity to practice Stoic wisdom. Reflect, evaluate, and choose the path that leads to peace. Let's aim to surround ourselves with people who add to our tranquility rather than detract from it. By doing so, we honor not only Stoic teachings, but also our own journey toward a life of peace, purpose, and deep fulfillment. Remember, the quality of our lives is significantly influenced by the quality of our relationships. It's about finding balance, embracing truth, cultivating respect, and above all, ensuring our connections enrich our lives without compromising our peace. As we conclude today, I hope you carry with you the Stoic principles we've explored together. Let them serve as a guiding light through the challenges and joys of your relationships. The pursuit of tranquility, virtue, and wisdom is a journey we are all on together, one step, one decision, one relationship at a time. If this conversation has sparked a desire for more exploration, understanding, and growth, I invite you to delve deeper into our journey. On your screen, you'll find a playlist that will take you further into the world of Stoicism, its principles, and how they can be applied to every aspect of your life. Click on it, and let's continue to grow together, challenge ourselves, and cultivate lives of profound meaning and joy. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, keep striving for tranquility, keep seeking wisdom, and remember, in the tapestry of life, we are all connected through our shared humanity and our quest for a good life. See you in the next video.